Misty Lewis, and this is my wonderful husband, Lee Lewis.
Hey.
And we are part of the ReEngage team, and we're going to tell you about ReEngage here in a minute. Before we do, we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves. So we've been married for 16 plus years. We have 3 girls, and we're just an ordinary couple striving to intentionally change the cycle from our upbringing to model a healthy marriage and train our girls to love God with all their heart, their mind, and their soul. But, however, this is not where we started. We started out our marriage without God and not even in church. Lee, do you remember the first time I signed us up for a life group?
I think it's more like dragged me to life group. I do, Misty. So the very first time we go to New Life Church, Misty's in the back signing us up for life groups, and I am not a person that likes to be around a bunch of people. So we go to this life group, and we find out it's at Pastor Mark's house. So people like me at that time don't hang out with pastors. And so anyway, that just made me not want to go even more. So we sit in the driveway, and Misty, I tell Misty that we've got, the kids are taken care of. We can go get ice cream. We don't need to be here. We don't need marriage counseling. So we turn the car off and go inside. So we go in, and honestly, it was the biggest game changer for us. We got to see that Pastor Mark was an authentic person that is the same. He's the same on Sunday that he is on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and that to me was a game changer. So it helped us to have a better marriage, to be able to lead our home better, lead our kids better, and help to raise our children.
You would think that I would be really excited about life group, and I was really excited, but in the background I was also very intimidated. I didn't tell Lee because I didn't want him to not want to go. I had to encourage him to go because it was about 2 weeks of him complaining that I had signed us up for a life group. But my experience in the past with Sunday school as a kid was I was very judged and just kind of left out. It just kind of felt like if you didn't know everything about the Bible or God, then you just were just kind of left out, and I wasn't being fully taught that, so I didn't know everything. Anyway, so I kind of thought that life group might be like Sunday school. But that's not what we found. Life group was very welcoming. We found other godly couples to do life group with, and we found mentors that modeled a godly marriage for us. And to be honest, this completely changed our marriage and our family. We began at this time, this was 11 years ago, we began a relationship with Christ, and it started with life groups. That's where our passion for ReEngage and life groups comes from. And so now we're going to tell you about ReEngage, and hopefully you'll want to join too and continue your journey.
ReEngage is for every marriage. If it's your last ditch effort, you're in the right place. If you're just maintaining, like changing the oil in your car, ReEngage is for you. It's for every marriage. Misty, what does ReEngage look like?
With ReEngage, you will go to your small group once a week for a couple of hours. And this is where you'll get to make those best friends like we did whenever we started life groups. You're also going to have a book that you're going to do with your spouse outside a group. Please don't check out, because I know sometimes when people see books, they're like, oh, I don't want to read, I don't have time to do that outside a group, what are you talking about? However, this is where a lot of your growing with God and your growing with your spouse is going to happen. And so the book only takes about 15 minutes once a week. There's very short lessons in the book. And then also what you're going to want to do with this book is you're going to want to read, answer the questions, and then share with your spouse. That's a very important part also. For example, we have had couples, this is from experience, couples have done their lessons separate, answered their questions separate, and then they come to group and share their answers in front of the group.
Without discussing it.
First, yes. And let's just say that is a train wreck, is what that is. So you want to do your book, answer the questions, and then share with your spouse before a group. The other thing that happens that's an amazing thing is while you are growing your relationship with God and you're building those friendships, your kids ages 3 months to high school will be doing the same thing at church. They will be having their own life group at church with their friends and doing small groups and learning lessons as well. One thing that's a little bit different than other life groups is it is multiple groups within one big group. So when you meet on your once a week night with your group for 2 hours, you are just going to meet with your small group of people. And then on nights of worship, we will go to night of worship with your group, and then you will come and stay at the church and meet at the church in the chapel. And we're going to do testimonies and powerful activities that are better with a big group. So Lee, can you tell us about the small group portion at ReEngage?
Sure. One thing we get asked every semester is, do I have to share my personal stuff in group? No, you do not. You will never be made to share in groups, and it is extremely important to share with your spouse. The more you share in your group, the better it's gonna be, just because you may be going through something that someone else has already made it through, and vice versa. So we do keep the groups small. There are 6 couples, and that's counting the group leader. And with that, our prayer is that you feel safe to share in the group, and just keep in mind, the more authentic and transparent you are, the more you'll find hope and healing within your marriage. The way that we keep, everything confidential is we all sign a confidentiality sheet. It's kind of like our church's version of Vegas. What happens in ReEngage group stays in ReEngage group. So, Misty, what is the most important thing they can do?
Well, if you decide to join ReEngage, give it your all. We've had couples many times who are about halfway in, or even 2 and 3 weeks in, and they're like, I wish I would have went all in at the beginning. So when you officially sign up for ReEngage, go all in. And if you don't, you are cheating yourself, because you're not allowing God to do the work that He wants to do in you. It's not a mistake that you're watching this video. It's not a mistake that you sign up for ReEngage. God has a purpose and plan that He wants to do in your life, and your part is to go all in. Also, you're cheating your spouse, because your spouse signed up for ReEngage with the hope that you would be fully engaged. And also, you're cheating the group, because again, it's not a mistake what group you get placed in. God is the one who puts all the groups together. And so you have a part to play in that group. Just like Lee said a while ago, there's something that you may have or be going through right then, that you may have a mentor in that group, and you won't know unless you're coming to the group, you share in the group, things like that. So make sure that you don't cheat yourself, your spouse, or your group, and that you go all in.
We are going to have a bunch of fun in these groups. Every semester, everybody says how much fun these groups are. There will be a lot of tears, mostly due to laughter. We also find that there are couples that find their best friends in these groups. You get so close to the people that are in your group. People that have gone through ReEngage years and years ago are still really, really good friends, best friends, couple-wise. So, Misty, how do they officially join?
Well, to officially join ReEngage, first we want to mention there is a $50 charge to join ReEngage. I will say, please, 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 do not let this be the reason you don't do ReEngage. There are scholarships, but the $50 does cover the books, and it covers like celebration night that we have, and just other events for ReEngage. And also, if you do need a scholarship, you can reach out to Lee or I, or your leader once you get in your group. You'll need to get the books, and each spouse gets one. And so we can either meet you at church on a Sunday and give you the books, or you can get them from your leaders at your hangout. And once you're placed in a group, then you will have a hangout the first week of launch. So just make a note of that, and your leader will contact you and give you information. And so if you officially want to join, there is a link that you will fill out. And before I discuss the link, let me talk about making sure that you're 100%. Because the reason you want to make sure you're 100% is there's a limited spots that we have in ReEngage. We only have how many groups based on what leaders God is asking to serve at that time. And again, we only put 6 couples per group. We've just found that makes ReEngage the most successful, and so we really stick on that. And so if you want to join, we need you to join by launch. If you know 100% that you want to join before launch, go ahead and sign up. You don't have to wait till launch to sign up. And so you'll want to sign up because, again, the spots may fill up and you don't want to miss a spot if that's what you know 100% you want to do. However, you do want to make sure that you are 100% all in, because there have been times that we didn't have any more spots, and there's a couple that really wanted to join and they didn't get to join. And then another couple who had already joined that same semester joined, and then they dropped out week 2. And so it was really disheartening to the couple that got turned away, because that would have been a valuable opportunity that they missed out on during that time. And also, back to the confidentiality thing, once groups start, we can't add another couple.
Right.
And so the ones who sign up, those are the ones that we'll put in group. I want to tell you now, what steps do you need to take to officially join ReEngage? Well, you were sent a link at the same time as you were sent this video. So you'll simply, each spouse will need to simply click that link. It's a 1-minute form it takes you to fill out, but it is very important that both spouses do it, because there's some separate questions that you'll have. And so on that link, you're going to be asked to rate your marriage. You're also going to be asked, what do you want to work on during your marriage? And this is to help us with the grouping, and also to help your leaders. And that's the only people that's going to see this, so it's very confidential also. So with that rating and with what do you want to work on, we highly encourage you to be honest. The only way that anybody can grow in anything is by being honest. Also, don't pressure your spouse to tell you what they rated or what they wrote down. For example, when we first started ReEngage, we had to rate our marriage. And our marriage was in a really good place. We were actually building the team to start ReEngage is when we first rated our marriage. And I rated, I guess you would say, a little stricter, and I rated 1 number lower. Both of our ratings were good. However, Lee thought that we were going to get a divorce, and that was not the case. But that's just why we ask you not to pressure your spouse, and just let each other have their own ratings and go all in with it. We hope this answered all of your questions and are excited to jump in. God and us are giving you the tools. All you have to do is commit and execute. Then in a few months, your marriage will go from bad to good, good to great, or even great to excellent.
That's right. And if you have any questions, wives, please reach out to Misty, and men, please reach out to me. There are no dumb questions. Please ask and contact either one of us as you need. We're excited to see what God has in store for your marriage.